Hey brother, what's up? It is currently the 25th of September, the year of the Lord 2016, and today is Summary Sunday. I am going to show you a summary of where I'm at and give you a demo. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop view, open up Android Studio, and we'll give it a whirl. So, the game doesn't look a whole lot different than what I showed you the first time, at least for the intro. The main menu is we hit a new game. It gives the whole "your planet is dying" speech. Your people struggle for survival. You need to save the world, all that sort of stuff. I added buttons to let players skip through this. Unskippable cutscenes are definitely a no Twinkie scenario. You don't want to put your players in a position where they have to watch that cutscene every time because I think it detracts from the replayability of your game. Once you get past the intro scene, you arrive at the player's homeworld. So I've created this thing called a station or a starport, and there are going to be a bunch of these, and this is where you'll spend a lot of your time. You'll travel between these points in the galaxy. So you start in your homeworld. I've got a brief description that's tied to the planet. I'll be working on some more of the story, perhaps on a Thursday. And for now, this is what it looks like. So I want to be able to add some backgrounds once I have more time to do the art. I want to be able to add a little scroll bar here, make sure this can scroll up and down if necessary. And then work on filling in these screens. So visit clan doesn't do anything yet. This is going to kick off the story. You get to visit your family and learn a little bit about the game and about trading and haggling. What I've been focusing on, because it's the core mechanic of the game, is the trader. So I'm going to click that. And boom, you can see by the graph paper that I haven't really gotten the art for this guy done yet. But I've got the raw images in lieu of the finished ones, and so I can I can at least play around while the art is being caught up. So the way that this works is you're supposed to give an item to this guy in exchange for some other item. And the way it's going to work is that the player can select from this drop-down box. It shows them their inventory here, and they can select Bendukian spices. And when they do, the box shows up here and it says, "What will you give for this?" So the player, to get the player started, they're not going to know how much a Bendukian spice is, or how much it's worth. Maybe by looking at the item and knowing that historically and today spices are freaking expensive, they can guess that this may be kind of a luxury item. It's probably worth a decent amount. But how much it's really worth will depend on the item and the trader that they're interacting with, and as they learn more about the who's and the what's of the galaxy, they'll be able to get a better sense. But at the beginning, they're going to be clueless. So I'm adding a mechanic that is, or an option for them to say, "What will you give me for this?" And if they click this, nothing happens because it's not built yet. More on that in a moment. But what will happen is the merchant will go and offer an item in exchange. And so the merchant, of course, is going to offer what they see as a favorable deal for themselves, because of course they are they're trying to make a profit, but it gives the player some idea of how much the item is worth. Now, if you select on both sides, you see the dialog changes to "how about this?" And so this is where the player can say, "Okay, I know I'm going to give these Bendukian spices, and I want," well, in this case the merchant only has one item, but in particular I want astro nano beans. And so they can, as they learn more about the trade, they will, or about the value of items in the galaxy, they're going to be able to fine-tune trades this way. And I think that once the player gets the general idea of their goods, once they get into the middle of the game, this is going to be the option they use the most. Now, another option they have is to ask for something and let the merchant pick what they want. And this is going to be helpful for learning about what that merchant favors, what items they're interested in. The downside, of course, is you may not want to give up that good, or you may not think it's a very good deal. And of course, the merchant, again, whenever you ask the merchant, they're going to give themselves a favorable deal. But again, it's another learning mechanic. And so, again, some lessons I learned from Nomad that I'm trying to apply here. If you click back, it takes you back to the station. You can click Visit Trader again to come back, and it'll ask you to put together a proposal. Now, this looks pretty. I mean, I can select, the cubic yak that we made on RZ Friday, or some of the other items, but the trading doesn't actually work. I'm still working on that because I found that the haggling mechanic is a lot harder than I initially thought. You have to be able to say, okay, these items are not going to be exactly of equivalent worth. There's a hidden, you can almost think of a dollar value for each item that's hidden behind the scenes. And right now, I'm just trying to get it so that the merchant will consider something a fair deal if the dollar value of what you're offering is within plus or minus 10% of what they're being asked to give up. But that in itself, figuring out if the trade is fair is easy to do. It's a simple math and comparison. The tricky part is saying, if it's not fair, I want the merchant to recommend something that they believe is fair. And that's where it gets to be a little bit trickier, because I have to have the merchant do the math and figure out, okay, how many astro beans or nano beans do I need to provide for your cubic yaks, or how many cubic yaks do you need to give me before I'll give you that number of beans. And so I've made some progress this evening. I think I'll have it be working definitely by the end of next week, but still it's been kind of a bummer because I was hoping to be working on the travel mechanic by now. It's almost the end of the month, so we'll see how that goes this week. But anyways, I wanted to give you an update on where I was at. I have written a lot of code. I've probably quadrupled my code base since the last demo that I gave. Unfortunately, the HTML version is broken at the moment, so you won't be able to play this online. Part of that is due to the fact that when I push this online, my Java code is recompiled into JavaScript, and the recompiler isn't it's not playing nicely with the library that I'm using to load files from the disk, in particular the list of item types. So I've been working with the good folks at libgdx on the chat room. I'm hoping to have that working as well, but right now I would rather get haggling to work. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Until we come up with a catchphrase, I will look forward to seeing your video and see you next time. Ciao.